When I was a kid, my mom used to make stuffed artichokes on special occasions. Now, I don't have her recipe, but here's mine. What I've got is I've got 4 artichokes. Here's one of them. This is a bowl of water with juice of 1 lemon in it. I have a half a cup of olive oil. I have an ounce of pancetta that's really browned. I can leave that out for a vegan dish. We just leave it out. A tablespoon of fresh sage that's all chopped. And then I'm going to make a combination of a bunch of other stuff with breadcrumb, and I'll get to that. So I have a steamer set up here, and I'm going to prep the artichokes. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off about the top third of this. Okay, so yeah, a third or so, something like that, right around here. I'm using a serrated knife. This is tough to cut, so I'm actually using a bread knife for it, which works kind of better than a lot of other things. All right, so I've got this cut open, and the next thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to peel this stem. Now, a lot of people just cut the stems off there because they want the artichoke to sit like flat in the cooking pan. I'm kind of like not like that. I prefer to leave the stems on, and you'll see how I finish them off, and I'm able to do that. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the bottom here. Now, I put these all in acidulated water. Basically, this is the water with the lemon juice in it, and that helps to stop the oxidation. And I'm setting up a steamer. So these are going to go in here, and I'm going to steam them for about 10 minutes before I kind of hollow them out. And I'll show you that in a little bit. While that's going on, I've got olive oil heating up here in this pan. And to that, I'm going to add an ounce of fresh pancetta, just like that. I'm definitely going to let that cook out, and I'm adding some sage. This is the sage that I mentioned earlier. This has finally come to a steam, so now I'm going to go ahead and stick the artichokes in here to give them a head start on all of the cooking. So stick them in. I'm going to let them go for about 10 minutes. Here I'm rendering the pancetta. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up the actual stuffing. So I've got a cup of breadcrumb, and what I like to do is I'm mixing a half a cup of very fine breadcrumb with a half a cup of panko breadcrumb. And then into that goes a half a cup of grated Romano cheese. And that's the base of this. Okay? And then I'm going to add, well, like I said, I've got this a teaspoon of garlic salt. I have a tablespoon of fresh thyme. I have 2 tablespoons of fresh mint. This is all chopped up. And I have my half a teaspoon of chili flakes. I'm going to mix that all up. Just like that. Okay? So this is what's going to be my stuffing ultimately when it's done. All right, now I've been cooking this here. I've kind of rendered the fat because I really ground up the pancetta. I ran a really small, so it didn't take very long to essentially render that out. It's already crisping up. So I'm going to add now the breadcrumb mix, the breadcrumb and cheese mix. I'm going to add that to this. And the idea is I'm going to kind of toast this whole thing. So I want to stir it up really good. And I want to make sure that and you see there's enough oil in here so that I've got, it's really kind of soaking into the breadcrumb and everything. And so I've got this nice mix here, and that is going to toast up. So this is steaming, this is toasting, and when we're done with this stuff, I'll come back when this is cool and show you how we finish this off. So once the artichokes are cooled, you need to hollow out the center because you want to get rid of that choke, that fuzzy part that's in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that out. Okay, and you can see here's that little fuzzy part that I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get down to the heart of the artichoke by getting out that part that's pretty much inedible actually. All right, so I got that out. Good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to put the breadcrumb in it. Now, just for the record, if I didn't want to go through all the hassle of, you know, mixing all those ingredients together for the breadcrumb, I could have just used, you know, I could have gotten the store-bought Italian style breadcrumb, maybe made it up a little nicer with putting some of the chili pepper in it, or maybe adding a little bit more cheese, because it already has cheese in it. Now, when I'm stuffing it, the idea here is I want to get this also, not just in the center, but I want to get it between the layers of leaves. I don't have to get it between every little leaf or anything like that, but the idea is to get some of this nice flavor down in there, so that when we are, you know, eating the bottoms of the leaves, and that's the only part that's actually edible, is the bottom. These tops are too tough. Top part here is too tough. You just eat from the bottom, and then you have the heart. All right, so you want to try and get it in and mix it like that. All right, so I'm getting it in between the leaves, and at that point I'm going to stick it in this little oven pan here, and you can see that I've got 3 of them already done. Put the 4th one in. Now the nice thing to do with this, by the way, is just go ahead and drizzle a little bit more olive oil right on the top of the breadcrumb that's in there, just like that. Okay, just to give it a little more flavor. You see how toasty though these things look? I toasted them really nice, a little bit brown. Don't worry if some of them falls in there. That's actually going to sort of make a sauce. And so the next thing, once I've got that done, is I'm going to have to put these in the oven, and they have to steam sort of. So what you do, once you've got them in here, is you add about a cup of white wine down in the bottom like that, something like that. And then you can add about the same amount of water. So I'll just put some water in there too. I don't want to cover them. I don't want to get them, you know, submerged. I just want to get enough water in there to create some steam and to cook them. And then I'm going to cover them with aluminum foil, nice and tightly with aluminum foil, otherwise they won't steam. So see that. This is going to go in a 400-degree oven, and it's probably going to take about 40 minutes or so until they're done. And the way you check to make sure they're done is you can stick a fork in the bottom of them into the heart area there to make sure that it's cooked. So I'm going to stick these in the oven, and we'll come back and give them a try.
Okay.
Okay, so here they are, they're done. Here they are, beautiful stuffed artichokes. I have to teach Donna about, Donna, have you ever had an artichoke like this?
No. I confessed earlier today that I had made it all the way to 71 years and some months and whatnot without ever eating an artichoke, pulling the leaves off an artichoke.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you and them how it works, right? You take a leaf off like that, and then down at the bottom is the only thing that's edible. Okay?
Okay.
And then you just do this, and you pull with your teeth.
Yeah.
Right, and then that's trash.
Okay.
And then that's the artichoke.
All right.
And it's got all this good goop and stuff in it.
All right. So I will start pulling.
Well, while she's doing that, kind of the way this works is you work your way through, and at the end you get the real reward, which is the high concentration of stuffing and the heart, and then you get to eat the heart and the stem. So you just work your way down into that, and you sort of have to just do that. What do you think?
This is pretty tasty. And I mean, the artichoke itself has a little bit of texture and flavor to it. The breadcrumb is really, that's a nice texture, nice and crunchy and salty and herby and
double everything in it.
Just what you want in snack food.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. That's my version of stuffed artichokes. I hope you'll give it a try, and we will see you next time.